So do you know anybody who's like this? And what I'm describing is like a personality type. So this type of person, above all else, they don't like conflict, they don't like arguments, and what they prefer to do is to avoid conflicts and maybe try to smooth things over, even if that means being untrue to their own values. So the type of person that I'm talking about here, they probably dodged Maxine. During the pantomime, they might have worn their underpants on their face a few times, but even though they knew it was wrong to do so, but their priority was avoiding a potential conflict. You know, somebody could ask them or look at them funny and make them feel uneasy because they weren't conforming with the pantomime and wearing their underpants on their face like everybody else. So, you know, this person, it might be a work colleague of yours, it could be a friend that you've known for years, or it might even be a family member. And maybe there's a social event looming, and this person who dislikes conflict has said to you, please don't talk about, or to paraphrase actually, they'll say, please don't talk about the truth about the last 4 years. You know, that this is where it's actually kind of quite funny, really. You know, the last 4 years, I would say, have been it's been one of the more dramatic periods in human history. And this type of person will say to you, oh, I'd rather you not talk about that. Can't you talk about anything else? You mean like not talk about the last 4 years, this most dramatic period of human history, or one of the most dramatic? No, because you know, it's just going to cause arguments, isn't it? You know, that's the line that's given. It's all about avoiding difficult situations and upsetting people. And what you've got to do is do small talk with some non-player character. And I suppose what it is as well, it's like they're still labouring under all sorts of illusions, aren't they? You know, they've embraced lies, and they want to. They don't. Most obviously, they just don't want to talk about it, do they? They don't want to talk about, particularly if, you know, one of these people has done something very, very bad, like subjected their own flesh and blood to the medical experiment. You know, I can imagine that they probably don't want to be reminded of that. And you know, what I'm talking about is a situation where they ask you about something. So it's not even you raising the issue. Because I think Lee from the Veritas Vincent channel, he's actually spoken well about this, and I agree with him that my feeling now is, if they don't talk about it, I'm not going to raise the issue. However, if they do raise the issue, then I will talk about it. For me, I just think it's an issue of integrity. You know, if somebody asks me the answer to 2 + 2, I'm not going to say 5 just to please somebody else, because that's the answer that's not going to provoke conflict. For me, telling the truth is always going to come before fitting in and being popular. I'm not going to be betray my own integrity for popularity, because this is the other thing, isn't it? That it's not like you can sit on the fence here. That third position isn't available. Either you thought that what went on was okay, maybe even good, and you know, you support that, you support the current thing, you know, in this case, the pantomime and the Maxines and all of that. Or the other legitimate position is that you think that what went on was wrong for various reasons. What isn't acceptable is to just sort of like sit on the fence, because, and this is the kind of heavy part of this little talk, is that, and I've said this before, we don't get away in this life, we don't get away with anything. We're judged for our actions, what we do. And my feeling again is that this is just a testing ground. It's just a testing ground. We're being tested. And the last 4 years was a test. So how did you act? Did you comply or not comply? What did you say? What didn't you say? Because I think also as well, what you failed to say but should have said, that might cause you an awful lot of problems down the line. So what happened over the last 4 years happened. There's no denying that. You can't like pretend in certain situations that didn't happen, to get on with people and to have an easy life. And like, if you do that, then, well, I think that's pretty, my feeling is it's pretty unwise, because, and don't get me wrong here, it's not me that's going to be the judging, but, and we've all done bad things in our lives, and what we're supposed to do is, when we do something wrong, is to put it right, make sure we don't do the same thing over and over again, to actually learn from our experiences. So yeah, when we die, we're going to be judged 100% on what we did, what we didn't do, what we said, what we didn't say. So I'd say it's a fairly unwise thing to do, to be mealy-mouthed about the last 4 years. And certainly what you shouldn't do is be encouraging other people to shut up about things, and because it might embarrass you in social company. That's not good, you know. So in conclusion then, I don't think you need to go on about it all the time, and you certainly don't need to broach the subject with NPCs, because, you know, you can judge the situation, judge it on a case-by-case basis, because you know that there are some NPCs that are just so fully programmed, you know, it's just not going to work really. I know that with certain people it's just a waste of time, it's just going to create kind of aggro, it's not worth it. That said, if they bring up a subject, what I'm not going to do is lie about it. You know, in the novel 1984, O'Brien is torturing Winston Smith, and he's like asking him, you know, what's 2 + 2? And O'Brien wants him to say 5. But, you know, Smith, in the end, he gives in to the torture, and what we've got to do is be a bit braver than that, is just keep on speaking up, particularly, I think, this is where, I don't know, maybe we could call it natural law to avoid people switching off, but I think at that point you're being tested. You know, if somebody's asking you a question and you've got an opportunity to speak about, you know, the truth of what went on over the last 4 years, then that is a test, and you're supposed to tell the truth. You're supposed to say 2 + 2 is equal to 4, not 5. You know, on the other hand, if you've got, like, you know, some random NPC and they're talking about, I don't know, a particular type of coffee or something, or what happened at the football or ice hockey last night, well, you know, if you can be bothered, you know, maybe talk to them about the ice hockey or the football. You know, I don't think in that situation you're obliged to tell them the truth about Maxine. But, you know, for myself personally, if somebody asks me why am I in Finland, well, then I'm not just going to make some stuff up. I'm not going to lie about that. And I think it's wrong for people to ask other people to self-censor because of their own feelings of embarrassment or whatever, you know. We've got to speak the truth, haven't we? When we're prompted, we've got to speak the truth, and if that makes us unpopular, well then, so be it. I'd much rather be unpopular than compromise my own integrity, and that's my own feelings about it. And I certainly wouldn't, I certainly wouldn't ever tell somebody, oh, you can't speak about that, because if you do, I'm going to be embarrassed about it. I think that's it's a bit weak, isn't it, really? And it's compromising somebody's own autonomy and free will. So if we sort of, I was maybe thinking about doing a separate video on this, but I might as well do it now. So, you know, you think about like say YouTube, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think there should be any censorship. So if you wanted to set up your own YouTube channel about why German National Socialism was actually great, and why the tiny German moustache man was misunderstood, and as far as I'm concerned, crack on. If you want to come up with sort of like revisionist history, yeah, make your own channel, fantastic. What I think, from my own personal point of view, I see my own channel, we live in a period of time where certain things, you can end up in prison, can't you, for it? So, and it's my channel as well. So it's almost like me, I see my YouTube comments pages, it's almost like you writing in to a newspaper, right? And I want my comment section to be interesting, and I want the comments to be relevant to the videos, because a couple of times now in the last week, maybe about 4 or 5 times actually, I've had people writing comments underneath my videos, and it's obvious that they've not watched the video, and they're accusing me of all sorts of things that I've actually specifically ruled out in my video. Or just completely like there was one person who, I can't remember what my video was about now, but all the comments was about this mass formation psychosis, which had like literally nothing to do with my video. And then you get other people, I think that was just somebody with an ego issue, and they just wanted to sound off about something, so they thought that they would, graffiti on my newspaper. But you get other people sometimes where they try to almost like hijack the flow of the comments, and I don't like that. And the other thing as well, I've done it twice, I think, so far in whatever it is, 2.5, 3 years. When people accuse me incorrectly of deleting their comments, really sorry about this, but if you do that, I'm going to stop you from commenting on my channel, because what you're doing there is you're telling lies, and you're doing it deliberately to try to undermine my credibility, and that's just not on. So I do have the power to hide your comments. Yeah, I don't do it very often. Oh, the only other time is like when you've got somebody, again, is trying to hijack a discussion by practicing their James O'Brien debating, or just by making, I don't know, stupid personal comments like, trying to troll me, like, oh, your videos don't get very many views, or, are you a Zionist, or, just like stupid insults, basically. So if you're doing that, I'm really sorry, but it's boring, and I want to keep my comments from you guys. I want to make it a good read, because I think that's part of, who is it now? Stefan from Sanity for Sweden. He once mentioned my channel, and he said that the comments were interesting, and I want that to continue. I don't want it being flooded with people making irrelevant comments or just banging on about Europa, the final battle or whatever. You can, as I'll reiterate this, I think that you're perfectly entitled to express your opinion on what happened in World War II and technocracy, you know? Perfectly entitled. But you're not entitled to hijack my channel and my comments page. You know, I'm in charge of that, not you. So if you want to make your points known on that, fair play to you. Set up your own channel, or maybe set up, what do they call it now, that site where you can do what do they call it now, there's some site, isn't there, Substack, that's it. Yeah, you can set up your own Substack or something, and let's see how many people are interested in your opinions. Do it that way rather than kind of like hijacking. You know, I put quite a lot of work into my YouTube channel, and I don't want it being wrecked or hijacked by people like lunatics, basically. Yeah, I'm for free speech. You can say whatever you want, but you say it on your own channel. You don't have a divine right, it's particularly if you're just going to be abusive. You know, cool, I don't know, just all sorts of stupid stuff people write that's designed to be a wind up or whatever, fine. You do it on your own channel, on your own page. There was one other thing as well. It's not happened for a while now, but there was a period where people would try to, let's get this out in the open too, that there's a lot of jealous people out there who they don't like it. They don't like it. You know, they don't like it if you've even got, well, I won't even call my channel successful, you know? Even a channel of my modest size, that's enough to prompt feelings of intense jealousy from some people. And what they'll do is they'll try and troll you. So like in the past, what I would do is, you know, I'd take the bit, what do they call it? Take the, I'd bite on it a bit. And then what would happen is, I would then get a ban from YouTube for like hateful comments. And what would happen is that the person trolling me would complain about me. And then YouTube would like stop me from commenting, it would ban me. So I think the easiest way with them people is just block them, and I will do that. But that doesn't mean I'm in favour of censorship. That just means if you want to express your points of view, you can do the hard work and develop a channel yourself. You know, because obviously the more of us doing this, the better. We could defend it that way. Oh, and the other thing as well, whilst we're on this subject, is I'm unmonetized. I'm not doing this for money. It does take a bit of time. The other thing as well I would say is that I do enjoy it. I do get some pleasure out of doing it, and I get pleasure from reading people's comments who have read the videos, and you know, I have learnt a lot from, you know, some of the people that have wrote replies underneath my channels. You know, the ones obviously that have watched the video before commenting on it. So sorry, this has been a bit rambly, but yeah, the main point that I was trying to get across in the video is that telling the truth is way more important than being popular. Especially, you know, like how much does it count to be popular with non-player characters or repeater stations, or what's the point? Again, I was reading some comments on Twitter this morning about people basically saying that over the last 4 years they've lost faith in humanity. And for me personally, I would say that that's definitely me too. I still I still kind of have that feeling waking up, and then you think, like, did it really happen? And then you kind of have to admit that it did. And many of the people that I thought were really sound people proved that they were anything but sound. They either kind of willingly went along with it, they went along with it because they were weak, or this other category of people who they kind of silently resisted. But it's like, oh, please don't talk about this with X, Y, Z because you might upset the normie. It's like, I don't have any desire to kind of communicate with them people anyway. It's like, what am I going to talk to them about? Oh, they don't want to talk about what they did or didn't do over the last 4 years. Fine, I get that. They want to talk about something else instead. Count me out, it's boring. Also, we're never going to get to the bottom of things. We're never going to learn if we just self-censor ourselves, for social approval. It's like, yeah, I should really tell them the truth here, but let's not rock the boat. We're not, if you're doing that, you're part of the problem, aren't you? You are part of the problem. And anyway, that's all I want to say today, so God bless.